Namaste. Jai Shri Krishna. I stand before you here today as a phenomena which stands in this face, perhaps, of the stereotyping that's taken place for our community. Because if a Glaswegian can rise to become a community and religious leader in the Hindu community, then certainly I don't think in any way there is caste discrimination. I found as a young man in 1983, when I left home to go off to become a Hindu monk with a great aspiration in life, when I arrived, I learned very quickly that if I could just memorize a few words in Hindi, Kya hal hai, or Gujarati, Kem Shal Masi, that by just a couple of words I could win the hearts of the whole community. It was such a beautiful community to be part of. I have to say I haven't experienced, I came across a recent case of caste discrimination, actually, which Satish was speaking to me about on the phone, where somebody had spoken to him or written to him and said, the problem with you is that you're a high caste, and that's why you're against caste legislation. And he said, in response, was that, are you not portraying the very disease that you're assuming I suffer from simply because of my surname? So, certainly, that was perhaps an incidence of the very thing, coming from those who are insisting on legislation. I have to say also as another example, my daughter studied in this school here since she was in preschool. And she's taken my although her mother is of Indian ethnicity, she took my complexion completely and entirely. And she studied in this school here since she was in preschool. Now she's 14. She's one of the big kids in the playground. And as the only white child in an entire school of Indian children, in the first years I used to say to her, you have any pride in saying anything? You know, it's the kids, isn't it? You know, maybe they call you Whitey or, you know, Barbie or something like, you know. And in all these years, not one incidence whatsoever of any form of discrimination. Now, I grew up in Glasgow, and I knew we had 2 African boys in our school. And by God, you know, the level of trouble that we all gave them was horrendous. And so, certainly I'm deeply honored to be a member of this community. Deeply honored. And in the last few weeks, one evening I just got home from the temple quite late, and somebody called me up, Ricky Segal called me up. I hadn't heard of the Alliance of Hindu Organizations yet. It was kind of a grassroots thing, it was happening. The organizations were becoming part of it. And I got a phone call, I just thought it was Ricky Segal, I thought it's just a personal call, and he said, Gauridasji, I'm just going to drop you into a conference call here, and there's a whole group of us on the line. Now, I think I was actually lying on my bed at the time. And there I was, speaking to leaders of formidable organizations. Big ego organizations, Hindu Forum of Britain, National Council for Hindu Temples, Hindu Council UK. And they were all coming together and bowing down to the thought that we have to be together as one family. We have to be together as one family. And in order to do that, there's a level of institutional and personal compromise that's required. But we're committed. I was wholly inspired by that. And then in becoming part of the group, a humble part of the group, I then began to notice something very special about this alliance. that the voice of the next generation was starting to come through. There was something of succession starting to take place. Something which I think has been in all of our minds. You know, we go to all the functions and it's all of us again, isn't it? And you're all getting older and I'm still looking good. I was one of the younger people in the meeting. Still, I'll always be younger than Jitu Bhai Patel. He's just a bit older than me. So, this voice was emerging. That was the most impressive thing to me. And then I noticed with all of us, I'm about to call myself one of the elders as well now, was this we were becoming a bit humbled by that voice because it was contemporary. And they're all like talking about Twitter. Let's push the Twitter messages, you know. Use a Facebook account and all that stuff. You know, if you're not got a Twitter account, you're off the team. So this was emerging beautifully, and I thought all of us old boys and the elder ladies were going to be succeeded by people who are better than us. Better than us. That was the most impressive thing for me. And I think that the most impressive decision I heard in all of the meetings was, okay, everyone over 50, raise the funds for this alliance. And everyone under 50, bond it and build it. I thought, wise words. And for once, all of us older people then all just kind of went, that's the way forward. It's the way forward. Something beautiful has begun to take place, where a big family is coming together in order to take care of its cultures, take care of its needs, and more specifically, to seriously consider managing its reputation. So, remaining together is so important. And as I said, it requires some level of compromise. Personal compromise, maybe institutional compromise. That yes, we will be part and we'll work together. Focused on simple, basic things. Like at Bhaktivedanta Manor, we had come up with a slogan. You remember, buy the land, build the road, open the temple. Our temple was closed. It was closed to worship. It took to that point to shut us down. And when we were shut down, 35,000 Hindus marched through central London in opposition to the government. 35,000 Hindus marched through central London. Many of you were there. It was incredible. Not only that, following that, 10,000 of you went into Westminster and on the striking of Big Ben, sat down on the roads and brought Westminster to a standstill. The media was flooded with over hundreds of policemen dragging masses off the street. They don't move easy. They don't listen to anyone. They were just dragging them off the street. In consequence of which, there was a great victory. The temple was open. The temple remains open. And it's a symbol of what can be accomplished by that unity, by that voice. Some years ago I was in Parliament. I was complaining to members of Parliament, there's no Hindu schools in the UK. I rounded up all the numbers, how many Catholic schools, how many Protestant schools, how many Jewish schools, how many Muslim schools, how many Sikh schools, but there's no Hindu schools. And they said, that's because nobody's asked for one. Nobody's asked for a Hindu school. Where was our voice? Here, with the Alliance of Hindu Organization, our voice is emerging. And most importantly, it's emerging from a younger contemporary generation of people. Many of whom speak the Queen's English better than the English. and the Scots. So, I want to urge you this evening a heartfelt plea that what we do, we will be defined by what we do in the next 3 months as a community. And our children will stand witness of that and remember it into the future. So please act. Bear the responsibility. Fill in these petitions. There are 3 letters. Sign them. 1 for individuals, 1 for communities, and 1 for businesses. Sign them, hand them in. Get it to your MP. Sign them this evening. Sign the petition and take this message back to your communities. And the clear message is, what the outcome of all this, we cannot say. But at least we should be able to stand to say that we expressed ourselves clearly and we were heard. That's what's all important. So we have to sign these forms. We have to sign these letters. Sign the position. Become part of the network. Network with the, and the Alliance, no one's in the top here. We decided that we don't even want a chair. Just another member who has to do all the troubling work for us. Like that, together one family, shoulder to shoulder. We have to do these things. Take it back to your communities. And finally, sorry, I mixed up my sheets here. I'd like to quote one great British leader, Winston Churchill. So, come then, let us go forward together with our united strength. Thank you, Hare Krishna.